this Anthony Metcalf case is getting worse and worse and worse for this boy. I always say that parents are a child's greatest asset and also their greatest detriment, because it just depends on what they do and on like what trajectory they can send a kid in. And the Anthony parents seem to be striving to be this boy's worst, like biggest problem. If it wasn't bad enough that they did the whole thing of just deciding to buy a house, and in one of my comments they said they also bought a Cadillac right after they seemed to get over $250,000 in these donations. And then apparently they said that, well, they didn't use the donation money, but it's like, who's gonna believe you in thinking that you was already planning to move into some luxury home before you got this donation money? Like, even if you did use your money, you're still counting a windfall from all your GoFundMes. So if that wasn't bad enough, then they go and they hire this lawyer that apparently has a rap sheet as long as his leg, and it's like heinous stuff. So it's like, why would you go in front of the public and use somebody that the public you know is gonna dox, and then come out and smear your son because of this dude? And then, if that wasn't bad enough, they have a press conference in which the Metcalf family's father shows up. There's a lot of ways you could try to spin the reason for that. It could have been some, if you want to go extreme, you could say it's some old school Texan racism where he was coming to intimidate the family with his presence, but I doubt it because he's a feeble old man. So then you could say, well, maybe he was coming to throw a fit and whatever. And again, so then it's like, okay, well, why was he there? We don't know. Because the family had him removed. And I see a lot of people saying their theory is the reason they had him removed is because they was hoping he would make a fuss and, protest, so they could spin that to say, see, this is how anyone would act when you ask them to leave a public place that they have every right to be in. But that's not what he did. He just left. And it's like the only shred of a positive that they could take from this is by saying, see, this is how you remove a person from a public space that they have absolutely every right to be in. You have the authorities do it. You just don't put your hands on them yourself. Otherwise, that person might stab you. And the worst part about it, and this is the thing that I don't think anybody is really, really tapping into about it, is I think the reason that the dad was there is because he really just wants to try to have a conversation and broker some peace about it. Sure, he's mad. More so, remorseful at losing his son. But I think he just wants this to be done. If you look at his first interview, aside from all the stupid stuff that he said that didn't help his son's case, he said, I'm not mad at the boy who did it. I'm not even mad at his parents. I just want justice to be served for my son. So it's like, it's not super unheard of for him to show up to the press conference. And the crazy part is, the only reason it was an issue was because it was him. Because if it had been the mom, no one would have said a word. Moms show up to stuff like this all the time, and then they do their thing and they give their speech and everything. And no, she's so strong. But because it was the dad, it was disrespectful and whatever, because the family's going through something. I don't think they understand how badly this little boy is screwed. Young man, I'll call him a little bit 17s. And this young man is screwed. If anybody kept up with the Muo case in Wisconsin, you already know. This boy is screwed. He was in the camp of another school, so all the witnesses are going to play to the kid that they know. There's alleged some video out there, but that don't matter. Because in the Muho case, there was video from multiple angles. That didn't help him neither. And if you knew the Muho case, you would know that when he fled, he dropped the knife, and they used that against him in court. And they're going to do the same thing to this Anthony young man. And the parents could have been spending this time to try to mitigate the damage and bring the charges down, but they given the other side so much ammunition, and it sucks because it's not good for him. It's not going to be great for the twin brother to have to live through this trial. It's not going to be great for the parents who lost their son to a stabbing. And it's not going to be good for the parents who are going to lose their son to prison. And like I said, you got kids, always remember, you are your child's greatest asset, but you can also be their greatest detriment. It all depends on how you roll them dice.